Sonika Chauhan and I'm back with more on the best of India's highways. This week I'm in Maharashtra and I'm ready to take you on a journey through one of the busiest highways in India, the Western Expressway that connects Mumbai to Pune. Catch all this action and more on Follow the Star. I'm on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, the highway that connects both cities, and I'm headed to make a brief pit stop at the hill town of Lonavala to explore more of its culture. I will then take a slight detour off the Mumbai-Pune Expressway and get onto the old Mumbai-Pune highway to visit a town called Kamshet, before ending my journey at the beautiful city of Pune. The Mumbai-Pune Expressway, which cuts through the Western Ghats, is also known as the Yashwantrao Chavan Mumbai-Pune Expressway. It has 6 tunnels and is India's first high-speed, access-controlled tolled expressway. It runs a total distance of 93 kilometers. Almost all sections of this highway are made up of concrete, which makes it more durable and less vulnerable to erosion from rains. Now here's a quick tip. While driving on concrete roads like this one should always make sure the air pressure is a few points lower than normal to allow the tires to get that extra grip on the road. I'm really enjoying my drive right now. The road is absolutely amazing. It offers a 6-lane highway and I think the E-Class is a perfect companion for me on this road. This expressway has quite a few plazas which serve as the perfect place to grab a quick bite and fuel up. I cross the Khalapur toll plaza and head straight to the hill town of Lonavala. Enveloped in the lush Sahyadri range, Lonavala is a preferred weekend getaway spot for most people living in Mumbai and Pune. Apart from its picturesque beauty, Lonavala is also famous for its hard candy, Chikki. The streets are lined with innumerable Maganlal Chikki shops. I'm sure it's hard to find the original shop, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So I finally found my way to the original Maganlal and Sons Chikki shop. So tell me, is this the first ever Maganlal and Sons Chikki shop?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the original one. It started off all from here.
Yeah, it is a 4th-generation shop.
4 generations, 4th generation shops. That's amazing. You seem like you have like a huge variety of chikki.
Yeah.
Why don't you take me through these different kinds? Because I've only tasted one.
26 varieties, and the most selling variety is the crushed groundnut peanuts. This is Kesar Badam Pista, one of our finest chikki.
So what is your hottest selling and what is the most unique chikki you have in your
The
shop?
most selling chikki and the most tastiest chikki is the crushed groundnut with cardamom.
This one.
The Kesar Badam Pista.
Okay.
The peanut is the most favorite.
That looks different. What is
This is
that?
a roast kaju with a new variety.
Though groundnut chikki is what chikki is about, the sweet now comes in a wide variety of flavors. Mint, rose, mango, chocolate, strawberry are only some of the new unusual variants of the good old groundnut chikki. So I'm going to try, I think the rose and the mango. I've never been a big fan of the flavor of rose, but when it's mixed with chikki, it tastes amazing. So this is one of the most hottest selling chikkis in Maganlal and Sons. This is the most unique chicky. I've never tasted mango flavored chicky. I'm going to do that right now. It's not hard like the original chicky. It's nice and soft. You can get the chicky taste with fresh mango flavor. That's superb. I really like these two and I think I'm going to buy it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I've had a good chicky feed. You all should come to Magan Lal and Sons and definitely try these 26 varieties of chicky. After indulging my sweet tooth, I'm now inching my way to another major attraction, India's very own Madame Tussauds, the Celebrity Wax Museum. Modelled on the lines of Madame Tussauds in London, the Celebrity Wax Museum boasts of not just Indian celebrities, but of famous personalities from the world over. Some idols are more impressive than others, and much like the tourists here, I too decide to strike a few poses with these wax avatars. So I have Sunil with me, who's the creator of these very real looking wax statues. Tell me Sunil, what was your inspiration behind making these statues?
Basically, I'm an artist. I had some thoughts
in
mind to do something creative and different, otherwise leave the profession, because everybody is like that.
Okay.
After the course, they are diverting their profession to some other way.
But you took it seriously and you wanted to do something different.
Different, that's all.
How long does it take you exactly to make one wax statue? It looks like very tedious,
now-
very intricate work.
Right now, I have 15 years experience in this field. I can make faster, very clearly in 20 to 25 days. per
In
model.
20 to 25 days, you can make one proper
One
wax
model.
statue with everything,
Yeah.
like head to toe, A to Z, 100%
Yes,
done.
I can.
Wow, that is an art and it's very difficult. I think you've done a brilliant job. What, according to you, is your most memorable or fun or favorite wax statue that you've worked on?
Actually, my favorite model is here inside Narendra Modi ji.
Exactly.
It's a wonderful experience for me because I met him 3 times. I spent one day with him at his home in Gandhidhar.
Okay.
So he spent 4 hours with me on that day. I can't imagine that much of like his a personality. He spent that much of time for a simple matter. So it was a fantastic meeting with me.
It was a
Model
fantastic
also
meeting with you, and that's why it shows in the wax statue you've
Yes,
created.
all big crowd always there with that model only.
Thank you so much, Sunil. I think your work is absolutely brilliant, and when you're in Lonavala, this place is a must visit. I'm just getting off the expressway and onto the old Mumbai-Pune highway, which is the NH4. I'm on my way to Kamshet for an air adventure I'm really looking forward to. The NH4 runs from Chennai to Pune and is 1,235 kilometers in length. I exit Lonavala and make a brief pit stop at the Lonavala toll booth before getting onto the NH4 that will continue till the end of my journey to Pune. At Kamshet, I take a detour and drive 10 kilometers off the road to Nirvana Adventures, a school that teaches paragliding. Here, I meet Ravi, my paragliding instructor who walks me up to the takeoff site. So I finally made it up to this hill, and Ravi here is going to take me on my first paragliding experience. I'm super excited because I've never done this before, and I'll come back and talk to you all if I make it alive. Let's go.
Yeah, go.
Just as I'm about to take off, my crew members get a wee bit excited and decide to strap a few cameras on me to capture the experience. यहाँ नहीं लग रहा है वो कान में लग रहा है with my neck going sideways unnecessarily. After all that complex rigging, my enthusiastic camera crew finally give me the go-ahead signal to take to the skies. Thank you.
Okay, run. Run.
Good. Very cool. As I float in the air with the town of Kamshed below me, enveloped in the silence of the Sahyadri range, I don't want to step foot back on earth. I just want to keep flying. I feel at the top of the world, quite literally. I've just had the most heavenly experience and now have my feet firmly planted on the ground. I've realized how much our highways have to offer. All you need is the willingness to take the road less travelled. I'm just about 60 kilometers away from Pune and I can't wait to hit the road. Coming up on Follow the Star, I meet one of India's leading businessmen and corporate statesmen, Rahul Bajaj. Welcome back to Follow the Star. I'm back on the old Mumbai-Pune highway and I've just crossed the Talegaon toll plaza to enter my final destination of this journey, Pune. The erstwhile capital of the Marathas, the monsoon capital of the British. Pune now, though, is known for other sights and sounds. Some of India's most well-known colleges and companies are headquartered here. The city is a melting pot of youngsters from across the country who usually come to Pune for higher studies or in search of jobs, promising this city with a glorious past a very bright future. The Mercedes E-Class, with its dynamic exteriors and elegant interiors, its confident performance and thrifty fuel economy, is a great all-rounder. It's comfy, it's gorgeous, and I'm having a great time behind the wheel. I'm heading to meet the man behind one of India's most iconic brands, the chairman of Bajaj Auto, and today, a corporate statesman, Rahul Bajaj. Recognized as one of the leading businessmen of India, Rahul Bajaj is credited with giving the middle class of independent India a new symbol of identity, the Bajaj Chetak. Today, Rahul Bajaj is the honorary chairman of the Bajaj Group, and we're meeting the man himself at the Bajaj Auto headquarters to find out more about him and the Bajaj Group. Hello Mr. Bajaj, how are you?
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking some time off for us. I have to ask you this whole Hamara Bajaj tagline, it's so dear and so close to every Indian's heart, including mine. How did you come up with something like that?
The credit has to go to a guy who's a close friend of mine, and you must have heard his name. He's a doyen amongst advertising gurus, Alec Padamsee. There are so many firms which people change, so I don't remember the name of my advertising agency at that time. This was in the 60s. And Alec, at that time, was not as old and as senior as he became subsequently, so he used to handle our account, service our account, the Bajaj Auto account. And he, amongst other things, he had a team, a very good team, coined two separate slogans or words. One was Hamara Bajaj, which become
Caught
very well
on.
known, and whenever I go, if I have to give
Like
a speech or
fire.
something, I'm introduced as Hamara Bajaj. And the other thing which he had said, this is not that important now because we don't make scooters anymore, we've gone into motorcycles and all, but that was very well known for a few years. At that time it was, you just can't beat a Bajaj.
You stopped making scooters and you're making motorcycles now. The Bajaj Chetak, that was like such an iconic vehicle.
Absolutely.
So you think you're going to revive it, or you think it's going to be relevant?
That word may or may not, but I'm that time for 35, 40 years I was the CEO, chairman and CEO, and I ran the company with my team, of course, but I ran the company. Just as a leader without a team is no good. A team without a leader doesn't have direction, so both are important. But now for the last 10 years, I'm a non-executive chairman, and the leader of the team, the management team, is my elder son Rajiv, who is the managing director and CEO. And the reason he stopped manufacturing, I've said on your channel, NDTV, only the other day at the award function, that a question was asked by Vikram Chandra, do you think that was the right decision to stop manufacturing scooters? And my answer was no. And my son Rajiv was sitting next to me. But that apart, I wouldn't have stopped making scooters at that time, but I think he had a lot of justifications for doing that, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
The scooter market in India had changed to the motorcycle market, and that's a question of fact. Last 4 years, scooter market again, and demand for scooters seems to have gone up again, but that time it was almost disappearing. And we used to make, even Chetak was at that time, Jamana Alag Tha, was a geared scooter.
Yeah.
Now whatever scooters are being sold, not a single is geared scooter. They're all automatic transmission or gearless scooters. And we were very weak in motorcycles. And the market was becoming motorcycles. And we were very small at that time, our R&D department, research and development department. And so full concentration was on developing proper motorcycles. And we really hit the nail on the head when we brought out the Pulsar. It became again an iconic motorcycle, and at the highest range, call it the sport, they call it range, or luxury range, neither Honda nor Hero can match us in that.
Rahul Bajaj has offered to show me around the Bajaj campus in his Mercedes S-Class. The flagship model of Mercedes, the S-Class is ranked as one of the best-selling cars in the world. This executive-level sedan is a harbinger of future technology, and I can't wait to ride in it with Mr. Bajaj. This 180-acre campus is the first of the 3 Bajaj plants and is an ode to the dedication of the Bajaj Group. It's not only where the Bajaj family lives and works, but the campus also houses the Bajaj R&D Center, which Mr. Bajaj informed me is a rapidly growing division of the company. The roads are lined with trees on either side, and the magnanimity of the place leaves you overawed, much like the man. There are a few journeys where everything falls into place perfectly. I started my journey this morning on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway, which proved to be a pleasure to drive on. Cutting across the beautiful Western Ghats, I made my way to Lonavala, where I tasted the traditional hard candy, Chikki, and posed with the rich and the famous, be it in their wax avatars. I indulged the adventure junkie in me at Kamshet, where I sailed over the stunning Sahyadri range. From then on, it was just the road, the Mercedes E250 and I, till I reached the Bajaj campus. This journey has been nothing short of spectacular, and I can't wait for the next one. In my next sojourn, I kick off my journey from Pune and head to Aurangabad, where I experience true Aurangabadi hospitality and culture. This is one journey you definitely shouldn't miss. I'm Sonika Chauhan and I'm back with more on the best of India's highways. This week I'm in... आप रोल कर रहे हो? I thought it was like not looking. Now here's a quick tip on driving while driving to get that extra grip on the road to allow your tires to get. I've just had the most heavenly experience and now have my feet firmly. Oh my god! How did you do that?